Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, brothers who are participating, please come in, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Come in, inshallah, coming close, everyone, coming close. If you're participating, if you're not participating, you're just relaxing, you can stay at the back. But if you're participating, if you, for health reasons, you need, for health reasons, if you need a chair or something, feel free to get a chair, inshallah ta'ala. Apart from that, we'll have you coming close. So we're continuing our study of the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. The name today that we are going to do is the name Al-Khaliq, the Creator. Generally speaking, when you study Allah's name Al-Khaliq, you study three names together: Al-Khaliq, Al-Bari and Al-Musawwir. But I want to go into a bit of detail with the name Al-Khaliq today. The reason for it is because when you study the name Al-Khaliq, a lot of issues come into it. The issue of Tawheed comes into Al-Khaliq. The issue of atheism comes into Al-Khaliq. The issue of evolution even comes into Al-Khaliq. Many other issues come under it. Does that make sense? So, because of the modern day problems that we have with all of these different groups and sects and beliefs and isms and schisms and ideologies, we have to go into a little bit of detail on the name Al-Khaliq than is usually expected. For that reason, I've taken the name Al-Khaliq and I've separated it from the name Al-Bari. Bari means the one who creates something from nothing. As in, no one ever created this ever before, and he originated it and it never existed. Musawwir is the one who, after he created it, he shapes it, he fashions it, he designs it. He gives it eyes, he makes the eyes a particular way, he gives it face, the cheeks, the cheekbones. Everything he designs it, he fashions it. Does that make sense? So Al-Bari and Musawwir will go into them, inshallah. So in essence, what it is Al-Bari and Musawwir explain Al-Khaliq. But we're going to look at Al-Khaliq separately today, inshallah ta'ala. And we're not going to just look at Al-Khaliq, there's another name similar to it. Al-Khaliq meaning the creator, yeah? There's another name similar to it, which is Al-Khallaaq. Al-Khaliq and Al-Khallaaq. We're going to look at both of these names today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So first and foremost, as usual, as we always start, is where are these names? What is the evidence for them? Because you can't say Allah has a name and you don't give an evidence for that name. We don't speak based on our whims or our desires or our logic or our emotion. We're people of text. So where's the proof that Allah has a name that is Al-Khaliq and Allah has a name which is Al-Khallaaq? The proof is as follows. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said in the Quran, هو الله الخالق الباري المصور. الباري المصور. Allah Azza wa Jal said He is Al-Khaliq. He described Himself as that in Surah Al-Hashr. Another ayah, Allah said, Allahu khaliqu kulli shay. Allah is the one who created everything. Everything He created. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَكِيلٌ. And He is a guardian over everything as well. So that's the proof that the name Al-Khaliq is the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. Like, and what's the proof that Allah's name is Al-Khallaaq? Again, we'll come to it. In the Quran, Allah said, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ الْخَلَّاقُ الْعَلِيمُ. That verily your Lord is Khallaaq, which the meaning comes from Al-Khaliq, and I'll explain to you what it is in a second. And He is Al-Alim, He is all-knowing. And then Allah mentioned the same name in Surah Yasin afterwards. أَوَلَيْسَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِقَادِرٍ عَلَىٰ أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُمْ بَلَى وَهُوَ الْخَلَّاقُ الْعَلِيمُ. Again, Al-Khallaaq, the name was used. So what's the difference between these two names? You have to understand something. The Arabic language has certain forms. The words have certain forms. And the word, when it comes in a certain form, when it comes in a certain meaning, when it comes in a certain form, it has a certain meaning that comes with it. So if anything comes in the form fa'al, yeah, then the meaning is further accentuated and emphasized. So Allah's name is Al-Khaliq, but if you put it in the form fa'al, it is Khallaaq. You see the way it kind of sounds similar? Fa'al, Khallaaq, it sounds similar. That's a rule in the Arabic language. If a word sounds like that and it follows the pattern, fa'al, the meaning becomes what? Mubalagha. It becomes hyperbole, becomes more. So then, if Al-Khaliq means the one who's creating, Al-Khallaaq means the one who is the supreme creator, who was always creating, He always has been creating. And we believe that as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We believe Allah Azza wa Jalla the same way He's infinite, the same way Allah is pre-eternal. Pre-eternal is a better way to describe it. He never started. Allah never started to exist, and He never ended to exist. Because He never started to exist and never ended to exist, we say that He is also, because He never started and never ended, His creating never started and never ended. Pay attention. I didn't say His creation never started and ended. The creation is the universe, for example, right? The universe
had a beginning. It did start and it will end. The universe is not pre-eternal. Like in the ability of Allah, His action of creating, He's always been creating. For you to say that there was a time when Allah never created and there was a point at which Allah started creating is a deficiency. That Allah was just sitting there, not doing anything, just not doing nothing. Human beings are like that. Like in Allah Azza wa Jal, كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every day He's doing things, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single day He's in an affair. He's creating something. He's bringing death to something. He's giving life to something. He's raising something. He's lowering something. So Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Khallaaq. He's the supreme creator that always was creating. Does that make sense? And this is an issue that we go into in more detail when we come to other books of Aqeedah, because then it gets a little bit complicated when the groups like the Asha'ira, the Mu'tazili, the Jahmiyyah, they try to respond. But let's not go into that kind of stuff today, okay? Okay, good. Now pay attention. Allah, He created every single little thing. What's the proof? Allah said, وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا. Allah said, Allah created every single thing. And then what did He do? Then after that, He measured it according to its due measurements. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. What does it mean Allah created every single little thing? What does it mean? Did Allah create you and me? But what if someone says, but you come from your parents? What if someone says you come from your parents though? So Allah didn't create me. I came from my parents. That's what some atheists say, right? You say to you have a conversation with the atheist, you say, who created you? You say, my mum and dad. So what would you say? What would you say in response? Say that again? So my mum and dad created. Go on.
They were the means.
Say that again?
They were the means.
They were a means. So then the way to answer it is this, is that Allah's creation, when Allah creates, is of two types. The first way that Allah creates is He creates directly. The way He created Adam. The way He created Adam alayhi salam. The second way that Allah creates is indirectly, which is the way He created me and you. He created us through a means, but Allah was still governing over that means. And this is one of the greatest refutations on the issue of evolution. People say that evolution exists and because of it, it's a proof that God doesn't exist. We say this is really stupid, because let's just say for argument's sake that evolution exists in the way that you say that it exists. Why is it a problem for you to understand that Allah is the one who initiated this evolutionary process and Allah is watching over it and He orchestrated it and He put it in place? The only thing that we will not ever affirm here is the creation of Adam, because Allah said, خَلَقْتُهُ بِيَدَيْ. I created Adam with my own two hands. Does that make sense? And people have, that's not hard to believe, because even from an evolutionary perspective, if you believe, because they believe everything evolved from a single cell. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying Islam affirms that or negates that. I don't know science. I'm not a scientist. But they say that everything started from one cell, and then that cell started to evolve. And what happened? Then that cell, I don't know how, but then that cell became a whale one day, and then that whale was in the water. By the way, where did the water come from? Apparently it came from cells too. So then after that, the whale came out of the sea and became, lion, leopard, and then suddenly the lion started to fly. This is their theory. I'm obviously oversimplifying it. I'm making it sound dumber than it is. They have a little bit of a nuance to how they explain it. But in essence, what you want me to understand is that a cell started in the water. Where did the water come from? I don't know. They don't have an explanation, but they said there was a cell in the water, and then through it became this and that and blah blah blah, and then it became a fish, and the fish, but what about the land animals? Yeah, then somehow it decided to come on land. Survival of the fittest. I don't know how any fish would survive outside of water, but this one fish was a G, like it happened to come out of the water and live. It happened to come out of the water, trousers low, tell everyone else, I'm here. I'm going to now turn into a leopard. And then it became what? After a leopard, it became what? A bird. And then it started to fly. And then, how this happened, no problem. We say we'll give it to you. For argument's sake, we'll give it to you, with the exception of Adam. But we'll not give you Adam though. We won't give you Adam alayhi salam. But they say, why not? And we'll say, you can't even explain to me how the first cell even came about. If I was to agree with you that all of the world came from one cell, where did that one first cell come from? They say, we don't know. So then you believe in miracles, my brother. Is that not a miracle? Is that not a miracle? You believe in miracles. You believe that there are some things that are outside of the evolutionary process. That one cell that came, from which all life apparently began, is outside the evolutionary process. Why? So you believe things can be outside of the evolutionary process. Why do you have an issue with Adam? Why can't Adam be outside the evolutionary process? And we say Allah, the same way, if we was to take your argument, He made that cell outside the evolutionary process, He made Adam outside the evolutionary process. And why do you have an issue to affirm that Allah set this evolutionary process in place and through it He created these things? Does that make sense? So that's just a side point to show you that Allah, He creates directly and then He also creates indirectly. And in that, the whole evolutionary thing, even if it was true from a scientific perspective, or we was to affirm parts of it, it doesn't harm our deen. And we should never feel shy when they look at you and say, oh, you believe Adam was created, like it just came on its own. Created by God on his own. I said, but you believe the first cell was created, what's wrong with you? In fact, I believe Adam was a human that was created and from him many humans came. You, bruv, you believe one cell came and from that cell, millions and millions and millions of species came. Some in the sea, some in the sky, some in the trees, some on the earth, some inside the earth, like worms. So I think that's a bit harder to believe personally. But you're going to look at me like I'm a muppet for believing what I believe? Rather you are the donuts. And not even a nice Krispy Kreme's one. Does that make sense? So Allah created everything, number one. Good. Number two. Assalamu alaikum. What does the... So remember, we've taken something from every lesson, which is that every name of Allah, it's taken from a characteristic. Rahman is taken from the characteristic Rahmah, mercy. Does that make sense? Al-Hayy, the one who's ever living, is taken from the characteristic which is Haya, life. Does that make sense? Al-Malik is taken from the characteristic Dhul Mulk, the one who owns the kingdom. Does that make sense? So what characteristic is Al-Khaliq taken from? The characteristic is Khalq, which means to create. Which means to create. So that's what it means in English. This is an Arabic word. What does Al-Khalq mean in the Arabic language? For you to understand Allah's name, Al-Khaliq, the one who creates, you have to understand Al-Khalq in the first place, which is the characteristic from which Allah's name was taken. Because remember, we said Allah's name is not like our names. My name could be Imran. What does Imran mean? Okay, it might have a meaning in the Hebrew language or the Arabic language, wherever it originates from. But I don't mean it by that name. Someone told me Imran means leader. But when my parents named me, did they name me because I was a leader? Did they name me based on some characteristics that I have? They just wanted to give me a name. Does that make sense? If your name is what? Ahmed. What does Ahmed mean in the Arabic language? Ahmed means I praise. Ahmed means I praise. So you're called Ahmed, but is it because you do a lot of praise? The Prophet was called Ahmed because he actually used to praise a lot. He praised Allah the most. And he was called Muhammad. Muhammad means the one who is praised the most. I might call you Muhammad, but you're the one who's insulted the most. Your name doesn't have a meaning the way Allah's name has a meaning. Allah's name is always taken from the meaning, and the meaning is taken from His characteristic. Does that make sense? So Al-Khaliq, the creator, is taken from the characteristic which is Al-Khalq, the one who creates. Now what does Khalq mean? It means two things. It means two things. The first meaning for Al-Khalq is for Allah, and it's alone for Him. The human beings can't share that with Him. The second meaning for Al-Khalq, which means to create, the human beings do share it with Allah in the meaning, but the way the human beings do it is different to how Allah does it. It's different to how Allah Azza wa Jal does it. So for example, let's look at it. The first one, Al-Khalq, means that He creates something. He creates something without there ever being an example of that thing ever before. He creates something without there ever being an example of that thing before. So when Allah created a fly, there was no example of a fly from which Allah took a plan, a design, and He built it. I remember, do they still have design and technology? DNT? I think they call it something else now, right? They call it, they still call it DT? Yeah, okay, so design and technology. So I remember when I came into year 7 and we done design and technology class, and they were teaching about bridges and making bridges. And I remember my design and technology teacher, I'll never forget him. I'll never forget him, because it struck me what he said that day. He said, when you look at the structure of bridges, he said, where did the human beings get the idea to design bridges? He said, they looked at the tree. They looked at the tree and how the tree stands firm. and they studied the tree, and then they tried to replicate the way the tree is strong and it holds the branches. They wanted to create a man-made thing that also would stand firm and be a way to carry cars and lorries and whatever across. And I remember he said something. He said, anything that humans have done, nature has always done it better. Obviously a statement of shirk, because he believes nature is a God. Nature creates, that's what he believes. We believe Allah created that. So forget what he said about nature, but it's true. If we believe Allah created nature and everything in nature, that means everything that the human being creates, Allah already created it better. We are always trying to modify. Name me one thing that a human has made, ever, except that they based it on something that Allah had already created before. One thing that a human made, except that he based it on something that Allah Azza wa Jalla had already given it to him before. You can't. Even when we change things, like for example, we take fruits and we make the fruit bigger. You know, they do all this processed fruit to make the banana bigger and the grape bigger and the apple bigger. But it's an apple that they're making, which Allah already made prior. Like when Allah created the apple, when Allah created the human, and when Allah created the stars, and when He created the moon, the planets, and He created the skies, Allah done it, and He wasn't following anyone else's blueprint. He wasn't following anyone else's blueprint. Allah just made it. And by the way, He made it perfect. Allah didn't have a first draft, and a second draft, and a third draft. No, the first time Allah made it, He made it perfect. For us, that for example, Thomas Edison, he made the light bulb, right? But by the way, what's he basing the light bulb on? What's he basing it on? The sun, right? He's basing it on the sun. So again, it's not something new. Like even when he created the light bulb, he made it wrong 999 times, and on the 1000th try, he got it right. It took him 1,000 times to make something like a light bulb. Like Allah made the sun with no prior example of something like that existing, and the first time he got it right. With no mistakes. And that is why Al-Khaliq, in the Arabic language, no one can say Khalaqtu shay, that I created something. You didn't create nothing. Creation means that you brought it into existence without any previous example of it ever existing before. Like when me and you create something, we don't do khalq. What we do sana. We do what? You can say sana'tu shay. I made something. You can say I made something. Like you can't say I created something. Creation is unique for Allah. And that's one meaning of the word al-khalq. What's the second meaning of the word khalq? It means decision, taqdeer. Taqdeer in its original in the Arabic language means to measure decision basically. And that's the example. For example, Allah Azza wa Jal said, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He said in the Quran, He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَتَخْلُقُونَ إِفْكًا. He said that you created an ifk, which is a lie. Here Allah doesn't mean creation as in you made something prior to ever being existed. He means you made it up. Like it's something that you made. But like you didn't do khalq, you never created something that never prior before it existed. Does that make sense? That's only for Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why Allah said, هَلْ مِنْ خَالِقٍ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ. Allah said, is there any creator besides Allah? Allah Azza wa Jal said that. He also said, إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدَرٍ. Allah said, every single thing Allah created, He created it. And what did He do? He decreed. He created it with a decree. Pay attention. Even when you make something, Allah created it through you. Even when you made something. When you go and you make a new app, and you create an algorithm and put an app on the App Store, Allah created that through you. How? Allah gave you the mind and the brain that you use to put it together. Allah gave you the functions, the tools, that from it, you were able to create this. So Allah is creating that through you. He's guiding it. He's processing it. He's decreed it all that you were going to make that app. Before you made the app, in the Lawhul Mahfuz, Allah had already mentioned you were going to make the app. Allah already understood. Before you understood the algorithm, before you understood coding, you go and you do what? People want to do IT degrees now. You sign up to an IT course so you can learn how to code and do this and do that. It was already written in the preserved tablet before that you were going to do that. So Allah already understood the algorithm before you even learnt it. Before the human invented it, Allah, He created everything. Everything. The car, the new Tesla Roadster, everyone's waiting for that. Are you waiting for that? I'm not into cars, I just heard about it today, that's why I'm mentioning it. Brother showed me a picture, it looks kind of sick. People think, who made this? Who made this? Who's that guy? That guy, what's his name? The one who got high on that podcast? Elon Musk, that's it. Like, he's not the creator. Allah created it. Allah Azza wa Jal created it, and he's the means that Allah is using to bring it. And that's why Allah said, وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا. Does that make sense, brothers? Does that make sense to you? Good. Now, pay attention. We live in an age and a day where people they are doing what? They're refusing to even believe that there was a creator. They say what? We live and we die. And nothing destroys us except for time. They say, drink, eat, be happy, live, take a few number ones and a few number twos. They just are all about releasing things, whether it be seminal fluid or whether it be feces, and then they just want to make as much money and die. I call them atheists. They say, what do you mean? There's no God, bro. There's no God. And Allah Azza wa Jalla addressed the atheists in the Quran. He did. But Allah Azza wa Jalla never mentioned them by name. He never mentioned them by name. He mentioned their statements. And he mentioned the arguments to disprove their kufr. And one may ask, how do you prove that Allah exists? And some people go to philosophy and stupid things like that. Philosophy is kufr, brothers. Because philosophy, and I don't want to go into it and confuse you guys, but we'll study it as we go into more detail, inshallah ta'ala, with other things after the 99 names of Allah Azza wa Jal. Like, philosophy is kufr. People think that they can seek guidance from their own mind. No, you can't. The mind is limited. Can the eye see when it's dark? Can the eye see if the lights are off? Can it see when the lights are off? In the same way, the eyes, they need the light in order to see. The mind, in order for it to think and function, it needs revelation. It needs Quran and Sunnah. That's why, if you look, the greatest scientists, brothers, you know, at the time when the Quran came down, you know, these people in this country, they were living in the dark ages, and they were on some mad stuff. They never used to shower. In fact, up until Queen Elizabeth times, you know, Queen Elizabeth was bald as a coot. She never had no hair. Why? Because the nits took her hair out. She said she was filthy. She used to have a bath maybe once a month. She lost her teeth. She never used to brush her teeth. Who brought brushing teeth and cleaning yourself and having baths? It was the Prophet ﷺ. It was Allah Azza wa Jal. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. Allah teaches us wash, do wudu, tahara. These people what? These people didn't even brush their teeth. Does that make sense? They were unhygienic, prehistoric, uncivilized people. So where did civilization come to them? They say it came to them because the Muslims, what did the Muslims do? The Muslims, they started to develop the scientific method. What is the scientific method? That you observe something, you try to form a hypothesis, you say, okay, I've looked at it, I think this is the way it is, and then you make a theory based on your conclusion, and then you try to apply it. Okay? The man who came up with this was a man called, I think his name is Muhammad al-Haythami, something al-Haythami, yeah? Rahimahullah ta'ala. He was a scientist of the eyes in the 10th century, yeah? Or 11th century. And he wrote a book on optics. And in this book he came up with a scientific method which later British and European scientists like Francis Bacon, funny names. Francis Bacon, he basically, what did he do? He came across these books that the Arab Muslims had written, and from it he was like, yo, these people are onto something. They got some science there up here. And then they took it and then they based that scientific method, and then they based many things based on it. That's why if you look in science now, a lot of terms in science, they start with al, like al-kahol, al-kaline. Even in maths, al-jabra. And this is from the Arabic, alif-lam, al-jabra. Alif-lam. You will say al before you say a word, right? Not always before you say a word, but forget the grammar, but you all know alif-lam, right? Alhamdu, right? Al-Khaliq. So the reason why these, even in when they anglicize the word, even they still have the alif lam in there. Does that make sense? So it was the Muslims who done this. And they say, and I don't want to get complicated and go into it, but there's books that you can find about how there were things that have been, for example, the algorithm which is inside of the phone, how it's based on, sorry, I just thought it was my phone, how it's based on what? Findings that the Muslims had founded hundreds of years ago. Even the GPS system that we have today, the TomTom, the Waze app that you use, the concept of GPS, the Muslims had written the original foundations of it from which they later on built, and then they created what? They created what? They created what? They created the GPS system. So the Muslims they laid the foundation for a lot of the stuff. The calculations, the mathematics, the physics, they laid it out from hundreds of years before. The point I'm making to you is, how did they do this? Why is it the Muslims could do it and the kuffar couldn't? The Muslims were 1,000 years ahead of the kuffar, and these people were still here not being able to brush their teeth. Why? Because the Muslims had revelation that was guiding them. Allah had laid down certain things that are facts. You don't need science to prove it to you. Right? For example, Allah is the creator, the heavens and the earth, the orbiting, and all these things Allah told. And then Allah actually told you in the Quran, Allah said, أَفَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ? Allah said, do you not see, do you not investigate, do you not research, do you not ponder over the camel and how it was created? What's that? That's biology. Which zoology is a sub-discipline of biology, studying the animals, right? وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ? And at the sky, how it was raised. What's that? That's physics. وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ? Geography. Look at the mountains. وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ? So the Muslims were saying, Allah's commanding me, go and research the sky. Allah's commanding me, go and research the mountain. Allah commanded me, go and research the earth, research the animal, the cow. Allah's telling me, observe the fly, the bee. Allah's telling me, observe these things. So the Muslims said, okay, I have to go out and do this. Allah's telling me, do you not see the stars, the moon, the sky? Allah said, the Muslims, what do? They ponder on these things. So then the Muslims went out researching, studying. So you see how, where would they have got the idea to look at the sky, to research the moon, to look at the animals? They would have just been busy in their herds, fighting each other, stabbing each other, and with names like bacon. Their surnames would be bacon. But why? Because the Muslims had what? They had revelation. So the way we say is that you have a mind, you have logic, my brother. But your logic means nothing without the Quran being the foundation upon which your logic looks. Does that make sense? The same way there's a building. Inside the building I could do many things. I could put a sofa there. I could paint the wall red. I could paint the wall white. But there's a foundation and a frame. I can't move this wall, can I? Obviously, if I smash it down, break it down. But as a building, I can't move the structure of the building. Does that make sense? There's a structure that's made. Within the structure, I can maneuver. I can set up things. That's like the mind. The mind is what you can do inside of the building. Like in the building is the Quran and the Sunnah. And within it you structure, within it you maneuver. Does that make sense? So that's why we say to the atheists, we say, that's why we say philosophy is batil. That was the point I was trying to make. Because philosophy is a belief, is a knowledge that believes that the mind is enough for you to search for truth. Which is very sad, because nowadays you have Muslims who are very famous on YouTube. And they do a lot of da'wah. And they don't use the Quran for arguments to refute the atheists. The arguments are based on philosophers. And when they want to do debates, they don't quote Ibn Taymiyyah, and they don't quote Ibn Qayyim, and they won't quote the Salaf al-Salih, but they actually will quote you, people like Francis Bacon. They'll actually quote man to you. Does that make sense? There's no problem in quoting them as a little side point, as in even your guy believes this. But like if you to build your whole argument to prove Allah's existence or to refute Christianity, and all you're doing is mentioning philosophy and kufr, and the kuffar, then that shows you don't understand the Quran in the first place, which means you're not fit to give da'wah. How can you call people to the truth by using a knowledge which is false, i.e. philosophy? So how does the Quran refute the atheists. Wallahi, it's so simple, it's so easy, it's so smooth, it's so beautiful, wallahi, and it's so powerful. And it's something that the atheists can never respond to. Look what Allah said in Surah Al-Tur. Allah said that أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Allah said, were they created from nothing? Allah asks you a question. Or Allah said, did you create yourself? Or in the next ayah, put the next ayah to the side. So Allah gives you two options. So if you say that the universe, because if you're talking about Allah and if He's a creator, where did our creation start from? Where did it start from? Like our existence, as in us, as our world. Where did our world start from? Where did it start from? Brothers, I hope I'm not losing you guys. You're understanding it, yeah? If at any point it goes over your head or you want me to repeat it, just put your hand up. I'll go over it 100 times. Does that make sense? Everyone understands, yeah? Everyone understands what I'm saying? Okay. If we're talking about Allah and we're saying Allah is the creator, our creation, meaning our world, where did it start from? You know, what was the starting point of our world? It was when the universe started, right? Right? Our world is within this universe. Our existence is within this universe. So then if you want to talk about whether Allah created our world and then later on created us, what do? Go back to the beginning of our world. When did our world start? When the universe started. The question is that we only have three possibilities with regards to where the universe came from. We say it came from Allah. Allah made it. But they say, no, we don't believe Allah is a creator. We believe there's no such thing as Allah. We're atheists. We believe in no God. No God. So then Allah said, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Allah said, you've got two options then. If you're saying Allah never created me, then there's one of two. Either you came from nothing. Nothingness created you. You were brought from nothing. Or you created yourself. Or you, is there a fourth option? The first option is Allah created you. Second option is you came from nothing. Nothing created you. Or the third option is you created yourself. Is there a fourth option? Brothers, is there a fourth option? Sisters, is there a fourth option? There's no sisters here. They're downstairs but we can't hear them. So let's keep it moving. It's not feminism, sisters. I mean, sorry, it's not misogyny, sisters. The fact that I'm not listening to what you're saying. It's not because I hate women. It's just that it would be extremely inconvenient for me to wait for a response to come from you. For all the feminists that might be listening downstairs or online. So, it's funny, isn't it, when feminists say, you're a misogynist, you hate women. I'm like, brother, I don't think it's possible for men to hate women, is it? For a man to hate women, like, is that possible? They throw it around anyway. Now if you say to a woman, you say, hey, you know, I have to provide for my wife. They say misogyny. You know, just threw that word around so much that it lost meaning. Misogyny means to hate women. They believe we hate them. Do you hate women, bro? Yeah. He's thinking, what do you mean hate? I'm trying to get full. But get the first one first, inshallah. You have a question?
Can you explain the universe part again?
Okay, let's start one more time. The discussion, if you want to debate an atheist, you have to look at the starting point of the discussion. It's not smart to start with them with regards to your creation, my creation. Because they're going to bring it back to you, but where did you come from? Where did you come from? So the place to start at the beginning of the universe. If you can prove to an atheist that the universe was created by Allah, then you've won the debate. Does that make sense? Because if you prove to them that I was created by Allah, then they're going to say, what about your father? What about your father's father? Then they say, okay, what about Adam? And then, you know what I'm saying? Okay, if Adam was created by Allah, what about the universe? So we say, let's just go to the universe. Let's start there. Let's start with the universe. If I can prove to you that the universe had to have a creator, then I won the debate. So now I'm saying, we say Allah created the universe. They say no. There was no God. So Allah responds to them. Allah said, what do you mean there's no God? You can't leave it there. You can't leave it there. Because you had to come from somewhere. You didn't just come. Like, you had to come from somewhere. So Allah said there's only two possibilities. Either you came from nothing, or you came from yourself. Either nothing created you, or you created yourself. Now already you can see how stupid that sounds. So let's investigate. Let's investigate. Can nothing ever create something? Can something ever come from nothing? Imagine I have nothingness. 1,000,000 years pass by. Will anything ever pop out of that nothing? No atoms, no cells. Even they are not stupid enough to think that we evolved from nothingness. That's why they say there was a cell. There was the first cell. We started from that one cell. Does that make sense? And then the cell split. What made the cell split? I don't know. Was there a little, cell knife that came and cut the cell in half? Or I don't know what it was. They say energy. Where did energy come from? It's complicated. The point is that even they say it started from somewhere. Does that make sense? So, because nothing only brings about what? Nothing. Okay, then the second option is they created themselves. Okay, that's even more stupid now. You know why? Because to create yourself, it means that there was a time when you didn't exist, but you existed at the exact same time as you didn't exist to create yourself. I'll give you an example. Imagine a woman giving birth to herself. Imagine a woman, she's pregnant. She just went into labour. Doctor said, look, push. She's like, push it. And then what? They're like, oh, congratulations, you gave birth to yourself. Do you want to cut your umbilical cord? Does that make sense? And that's literally what they are. That literally would be stupid. By the way, there are some people that believe the universe created itself. Yeah? There are some kuffar that believe that. And there are some kuffar that also believe that the universe came from nothing. Stupid. Wallahi, stupid. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم. Allah said there's a seal on their hearts and their eyes and their hearing. These people are gone. They're gone. They believe the universe came from nothing. Some of them believe the universe created itself. These are impossibilities. And Allah eliminated both of them just by asking you two simple questions. خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ. Did you get created from nothing? أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. The overwhelming majority of smart people, what are they going to say? They're going to say, I mean, those two are impossible. If they're impossible, then there's only one other option. If they don't take it, if they still refuse to accept that they had a creator, I say, well then where did you come from? Give me a fourth, give me a fifth, give me a sixth alternative. They will never be able to give it. There is no other alternative. And there you go, the Quran has just destroyed atheism. One ayah, small ayah, short ayah, two questions. خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Atheism is gone. No atheist can ever debate. Keep asking them. Okay, so you give her nothing, yeah? Nothing. But nothing's nothing. It's nothing, brother. It's like saying, I eat cereal. What did you have for breakfast today? I had nothing. I had some cereal, but it was nothing. I drove my car, but there was no car. Does that make sense? So it's stupid. So that's how you destroy atheism, from the Quran, not from philosophy, from the Quran, an ayah in the Quran. Good. Now, second question that we have to ask ourselves is, then why did Allah create us? Why did Allah create you and me? Why has He created us? Why has He created us? And there are two reasons why Allah mentioned He created us in the Quran. But both of these two reasons are linked. Does that make sense? The first reason Allah created us is so that we can know who He is. Allah said through His creation, we will come to know who Allah is. And the proof of this is Allah Azza wa Jal said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهن لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. Look what Allah said. Allah said that Allah is the one who created. Brothers, wallahi, this ayah is so powerful. And wallahi, if you haven't listened to anything I've said today, listen to this ayah. If you understand it, inshallah, it will make your iman shoot up. Powerful. Allah said Allah is the one who created the 7 heavens and the earth. And then what did He say? He said Allah sent down His command between the heavens and the earth. Meaning Allah created the heavens, He created the earth, then He made the earth and the heavens function. He made the plants come out of the earth. He made the rain come down from the sky. He made the earth orbit the sun. He made the moon orbit the earth. He made the solar system orbit wherever the hell it orbits out there. Allah made His command function. He sent it down. But why did Allah do this? Allah said, why? He created the heavens, He created the earth, He's made His command and everything come down. Why? What was the reason? Allah said, لِتَعْلَمُوا, so that you can know, so that you can have knowledge. Knowledge of what? Two things. Knowledge of two things. Number one, أن الله على كل شيء قدير, that Allah has the ability to do everything. He has ability over everything. Allah can do whatever He wants. وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما, and that Allah has encompassed, surrounded, gathered everything in His knowledge. Wait for it. The part of the ayah being powerful is going to come to you, because I know you haven't understood it yet. I want to make sure you understand it, so let me break down the ayah for you one more time. Pay attention, because I don't want to lose you. If you understand it, this is going to make your iman go up, inshallah ta'ala. Start again. Allah said, Allah created the seven heavens, and He created the earth, and He made them function. He made the command operate between them. He sent it down. Why? So that you can have knowledge. Knowledge of what? Two things. That Allah has power and ability, and that Allah has knowledge. He has complete power, and He has complete knowledge. This ayah, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, look at this, we don't have to go to philosophy. Ibn Taymiyyah used this ayah to formulate an argument to destroy atheism once again. It's not just that one ayah that we have, this one as well. How? He said, look, we are making a claim that Allah created the heavens. Allah created the universe. Heaven means universe. It doesn't mean paradise. So it doesn't mean Jannah. Jannah is paradise. Heaven, the seven heavens it's the seven skies. This sky we see, the stars that you see is the first heaven. It's the first universe. So he said, we're making a claim Allah created the universe. Allah told us in this ayah that the universe is a reason for you to know that Allah is all-knowing and Allah is all-powerful. So Ibn Taymiyyah said, if you observe the universe, you can come to know these two things about Allah. Through the universe, you can come to know that the universe is brought into existence by an all-powerful being and an all-knowledgeable being. And he said, when you have these two things, then you have a creator. For example, if I have the knowledge of how to make a microphone, but I don't have the ability, I don't have the tools, I don't have hands to make the microphone, can you call me a creator of the microphone? Okay, what if I have hands and I have tools, but I don't have the knowledge of how to make the microphone? Can you call me a creator? No, the only time you can call me a creator is when I combine between two things. Knowledge of what I'm going to make and the ability to make it. When I bring the knowledge of how to make it and the ability to make it together, now you can call me the creator of the thing. The same way, I know how to do a stand up, but I don't have the legs for it, man. I can't. I don't have the legs for it. So can you call me a dunker? Okay, what if I've got the legs for it, but I don't know how they do it? I don't know how, I've got the legs for it, but I don't know how to jump. I don't know. Can you say that I'm one who dunks? No, you only call him someone who does the thing when he has the knowledge of what he's doing and what? The ability to do it. And the ability to do it. Because the atheists, this is what they'll say to you. They'll say to you, okay, I believe that God caused me to exist. But why do you say creator? Creator means he's got knowledge, ability. Like, why did you jump to that? Because of this ayah right here. So Allah is telling us, look at this creation, the thing that we're claiming was created. If you can prove by looking at the sky, by looking at the earth, by looking at the universe, that this was brought into existence by one who is all knowledgeable and one who is all powerful, then he is the creator of the heavens and the earth. And now you must worship him. So, because that's the claim, right? So now how? Wallahi, basic science, a person will know that when you look at the universe has a design. Can you design something without knowledge? Can you design something without knowledge? Can you set things in motion in design and pattern? That's why they call it intelligent design. Richard Dawkins, by the way, who is the head of the atheists, wrote a book called The God Delusion. Inside of the book, he actually said that when you look at the universe, it gives the impression that it's being designed. Why don't you accept it? He just refuses to accept it. He just refuses to accept it. But even he, the head of atheism in the world, Oxford University professor, he said that when you look, it's in his book, I read it, I've got the book at home. He He said, when you look at the universe, it gives the impression that it has been designed. And he says, I understand why people believe in God. Why does he not believe it? He rejects it. He just rejects it. For no reason. The argument is so stupid. But even he tells you there is design. Wallahi, when you look at the way the world, the earth, if it was slightly closer to the moon, it would be if the earth was slightly closer towards the sun, it would be too hot for life to exist on earth. If it was slightly further away from its orbit, it would be too cold for life to exist on earth. Everything is in proportion to perfection. This shows that this shows that the being that put it into motion was knowledgeable. Okay, what about power? If I break everything in the universe down into its smallest thing, what is it? An atom, right? Now they break atoms down into quarks, but forget all that rubbish. The thing that we all know is what? An atom, right? When I split an atom, what happens? What happens when you split an atom? There's an explosion. That's what they call it, atomic bomb, the nuclear bomb. When you split an atom, I'm not on that stuff. I'm not on that stuff, just letting you know. But when you split an atom, there is a massive release of power and energy. So how many atoms are in here? Millions. If I was to split every atom in my phone, it would destroy countries. It could destroy cities. One atom was split and destroyed 2 cities. Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. They destroyed 2 cities from one atomic bomb. So imagine all of the atoms in the universe, how much power Allah has placed in them. Now I'll ask you something. Can power come from weakness? Can power come from weakness? There had to be one who has power and ability that placed this energy, that placed this strength inside of every atom. So if you accept that this universe had a cause, and the universe has design, which cannot come except from intelligence, and the universe has energy and power and strength, it could not have come from something that does not have any energy or power or strength itself. It can't come from something that doesn't have power and ability itself. So then when you look at the universe, you know that the one who brought this into existence had knowledge, and the one who brought this into existence had power. And then now straight away you know this is the creator, because power and knowledge, ability and knowledge, shows you what? Creation. He got that from the ayah. He didn't get that from Hyde Park Speaker's Corner. He didn't get that from Francis Bacon or Jonathan Locke or Thomas Hobbes. He didn't get it from Aristotle. He got it from Allah. Did you understand that? Did everyone get it? Yeah? Or shall I go over it? I can go over it again. Did everyone get it? Did you get it? Say Wallahi. Billahi. Tallahi. Wa Rabbil Kaaba. If you're lying, that's on the day of judgment, that's fine. So you understand it, yeah? Okay, good. I'm very. So that's the first reason why Allah said He created, so that we can know who He is. The second reason Allah created, He said, is why? So that we can worship Him alone. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, I did not create the humans, and I did not create the jinn for any reason except that the humans and the jinn should worship me alone. Worship me alone. Does that make sense? The tawheed is of 2 types. There's tawheed of knowledge. There's a tawheed which you are just required to know. And there's a tawheed of action. Tawheed means oneness of Allah, right? So the oneness of Allah is 2 types. The first oneness is the oneness of knowing about Allah and His oneness. The second one is doing oneness, meaning you worship Him alone, you don't worship anyone else besides Him. The first ayah, which is that Allah said He created us so that we may know, He's created us so that we understand Tawheed. And under that falls Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. The Tawheed of Allah's Lordship, because that's just something that you know. You know He's the Lord, He's the only one who creates, provides, sustains. And the Tawheed of Allah's names and His attributes. So that's the first ayah. So the first reason Allah created us was to know that He is one. And the second was to show that Allah created us for the other type of Tawheed, which is what? To worship Him alone. And both are connected. Because the fact that you have knowledge of who Allah is and what He done for you is why you worship Him alone. I can't worship no one else, because they're not Allah. I can't worship the Prophet ﷺ. He never created me. I can't worship Jesus. He never made me. You even ask a Christian, who made the universe? They'll say, God. Jesus? Jesus made you? They can't tell you Jesus made me. Because who made Jesus? Jesus was made himself inside the womb of his mum. They can't tell you Jesus made me. They can't come with that. You ask the Hindus, who created the universe? They'll tell you there was one God, one main God who created everything. So why don't you worship him? You know, they like the elephant and the cow and the monkey, you know. They want to worship the monkey. But the monkey had a creator. Oh, you know, there was two gods called Rama and Sita, and they were in trouble, so God was in trouble, and the monkey came and saved the day. So then we decided to make the monkey a god. Okay, so make it right, a monkey came and helped your gods who were in trouble. So God's in trouble, and then you made him a god. He's a monkey. Kufr is stupid. Like, I'll be honest, kufr is stupid. Kufr, shirk is stupid. Wallahi. If you think about it, atheism, no matter how smart they try to make themselves sound, stupid Christians. This is all stupid, bro. This is stupidity. Does that make sense? But like in Allah guides whom He wills. So that's why Allah creates. So you can know all of Allah's creation through it. You can get to know Him. You get to know, He's knowledgeable. Okay, Allah created something else. You get to know He's Hakim. He's wise. You get to know something else. You know you get to know different names of Allah. He's Al-Qadir. You know, He's Musawwir. Allah creates something so beautiful. He details it. Musawwir. Look at the way He did that. So through Allah's creation, you get to know Him, and then the more you know Him, the more you worship Him alone. You don't worship anyone else besides Him, because no one else can do what He does. Okay, now we have to talk about a very important mas'ala now. And this is going to be, inshallah, the last thing that we do basically. Yeah? Very important mas'ala. In fact, this is the most important mas'ala, or what the whole deen revolves around. I want to ask you a question. Is it enough to be a Muslim, the fact that you believe that Allah is a creator? Put your hand up if you think that it is enough for you to be a Muslim, the fact that you believe Allah is a creator. Who believes you need more? You need more in order to be a Muslim. So what do you need, bro? Worship Allah alone. Brothers, you have to understand something, yeah? Even the Quraysh to whom the Prophet ﷺ came believed that Allah was a creator. They believed in Allah. Did you know this? Did you know Abu Jahl believed in Allah? Did you know Abu Talib, the one who Allah said, Tabbat yada Abi Lahabin wa Tabb? He believed in Allah. Did you know this? Do you know Shaitan believes in Allah? Does Shaitan believe in Allah? Why is Shaitan a kafir then? But so then this should show you, the point I'm making is that it's not enough for you to believe in Allah, the belief that He's your creator, to be Muslim. It's not enough. In fact, Christians believe that they say, who created us? God, right? They'll say Father, the God. Jews will tell you the same. Hindus will tell you the same. Even the Sikhs will tell you. If I'm not mistaken, the first word of the Guru Granth Sahib, which is their text, it says Ik Onkar, which means one God. If I'm not mistaken, that's the first line, Ik Onkar, which means one God. So even they believe one God. They believe one God created them. So why is it that they're all disbelievers? Why is it that they are not Muslims? It's because the issue with the people, with the kuffar, is not that they didn't believe in Allah. It's that they didn't worship Him alone. They worshipped other gods besides Him. The ibadah, for example, dua, sajda, salah, they did this for other than Allah. They did it for graves, they did it for idols, they did it for stones, they did it for prophets, they did it for angels, they did it for saints besides Allah. And that is why, my brothers and my sisters, it's very important for you to study Tawheed al-Ibadah. That's why Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahimahullah ta'ala, when he wrote that famous book called Kitab Tawheed, it's not talking about Allah being the only creator, The whole book is talking about Allah being the only one that you should worship. The chapters are all about worship, ibadah, ibadah, ibadah. Because when you know Allah created you, you know He owns you, He provides for this creation, He sustains this creation. The creation is a slave now. The creation has to respond back by serving this Lord. Does that make sense? And the greatest crime that you can do, for which there is no forgiveness if you die upon it, is for you to die worshipping another God besides Allah. Does that make sense? And some of us, we worship humans. Some of us, the Prophet said, the slave of the dinar and the dirham, the slave of the penny and the pound. Some of us worship money. Money is our God. How do you know money is your God? Is when you obey money more than you obey Allah. You disobey Allah for the money. So who do you place above Allah? The money. Some of us do it with women. The women are, maybe it's one woman that you love. That's very sad, because now we would refer to you as one who's whipped. Right? And that's sad. So you had a woman and the woman became your God. Some of you, it's not one woman, it's many women. It's just women. It's not even women, it's your own desires are your God. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. He worships his own desires. He says, I must hump a woman today, and he does it. He can't control himself. I must drink alcohol today, and he does it. I have to get high. You know, stop and relax. No, his desires is what his desires are his God. I must obey. So you place your desires above Allah. You base your desires above Allah Azza wa Jal. Does that make sense? And that's why it's very important that you understand this. And what is the proof for this, by the way? Just mention some proof. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Yusuf, Allah said, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. Look at the ayah. You might not understand it first time you look at it. Allah said, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ. Allah said, the majority of them, they believe in Allah. Look what Allah said. The majority of them, they believe in Allah. But their belief is always إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. They're doing shirk at the same time. So how can you believe and do shirk at the same time? Is it shirk kufr? If you do shirk, does that not make you a disbeliever? So how can you have iman and kufr in you at the same time? Ibn Abbas explained it, radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he explained it, he said, the iman is what? That if you ask them, man khalaq as-sama, who created the sky? Wa man khalaq al-ard, who created the earth? Wa man khalaq al-jibal, who created the mountains? Qalu, they will say, Allah created it. So that's the iman. The iman is that they believe Allah is the creator. وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. But then after that they go worship an idol. After that they will go worship a stone. That's why La ilaha illallah does not mean that there is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah means that there is no it doesn't mean there is no creator except Allah. It means that there is no deity worthy to be worshipped in truth except for Allah. Look at another ayah. Allah said, Alhamdulillah alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-arda wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan-nur. Allah said, all praise and thanks belongs to Allah, the one who created the heavens and the earth, and He originated the darkness and the light. And then what did Allah say? ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ يَعْدِلُونَ. Allah said, after they affirmed He created the heavens and the earth, and He originated light and darkness, Allah said, what do? Allah said, the ones who disbelieve, what do? بِرَبِّهِمْ يَعْدِلُونَ. They make other things equal to Allah. What are you doing? What is a Christian doing? Wallahi, it makes no sense to me. How is a Christian doing this? Wallahi, he affirms that Jesus was created. Wallahi, look, you ask the Christian, you say, look, Jesus was made inside the womb of His mother. He was made inside the womb of His mother. Okay? So did He create Himself? No. So He was created, right? Good. When Jesus died, He died, right? And He was resurrected. That's what they believe. We don't believe He died. They believe He died. They believe He died, right? So you believe He died and He was resurrected. So when He was dead, is resurrection a type of creation? It is. So who created Him back? Did Jesus resurrect Himself? Or did another God to resurrect Him? So they affirm Allah resurrected Jesus. The Father, which they say is Father, God, Allah, it is though, that's just, they changed the name, resurrected Jesus. He created Jesus. Lakin, ya'dilun. They still make Jesus equal to Allah. They go to the Prophet's grave, they make dua to the Prophet. The Shia, they make dua to Ali. You go to the Kaaba, you see them saying, "Oh Ali, save us from the fire." Like you're making Ali equal to Allah. Ali was created. Ali does not create. فَمَا الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ يَعْدِلُونَ. And Allah has so many ayat like this in the Quran. Allah says, وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَسَخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ لَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهُ. Allah said, if you ask them who is it that created the heavens and the earth, they will say it was Allah. The kuffar believed in Allah, brothers. It's just that they didn't worship Him alone. The conclusion, inshallah ta'ala, is anyone, this is the end, anyone who does not have the ability to create, and we said only Allah can create. We can make, but creation means to create something that you don't have a precedence for before. That nothing like it exists prior, and you originated it yourself. That's what it means to create. Only the creator has the right to be worshipped. If you're not a creator, if you're not al-Khaliq, if you're not this, the way we described Allah right now, you do not have the right to be worshipped. And you do not have the right to worship that thing. Whether it be a woman, whether it be money, whether it be an idol, whether it be a prophet, whether it be a saint, whether it be an angel. Look at the evidences. Allah said, هَذَا خَلْقُ اللَّهِ. Allah said, this is the creation of Allah. The heavens, the earth, the world, the globe, the stars. This is the creation of Allah. Allah said, فَأَرُونِي مَاذَا خَلَقَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِي. Then show me these other gods that you worship besides Allah. What did they create? Have they created something? They have not created nothing. So they do not have the right to be worshipped. How can you worship one who does not create? He's not perfect. Because the point is, if you worship one who did not create, it means he himself or she himself or it itself was created. So why are you not worshipping the one who created it? Another ayah, look, Allah said, Ya ayyuhan nas, ضُرِبَ مَثَلٌ. Allah said, O mankind, O people, O man and jinn. Allah said, He gives you an example. فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, listen to this. Listen to this example. Allah said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. That the people who they worship other things besides Allah, they make dua to other things besides Allah. The Sufis who worship the saints and the prophets. The Christians who worship what? The idols. The human beings who worship their wives. The women who worship their husbands. The ones who worship the money. Allah said, these things that you worship besides Allah, لَن يَخْلُقُوا ذُبَابًا. Allah said, they do not even have the ability to create a fly. وَلَوْ اجْتَمَعُوا لَهُ. Even if all of them were to come together, they could not create the fly. Brothers, Allah said, you cannot create the fly. If all of the humans and all of the jinn came together to try to create a fly, you would not even be able to create a fly. Jesus couldn't create a fly. They said Jesus brought the dead back from the life. Bi-idhnillah, Allah said in the Quran, with the permission of Allah. Okay, Jesus brought the dead back from the life. Moses split the sea. Both are miracles. Did Moses do it because Moses was God? Allah gave him the ability. Allah did it through him. Allah made him a means towards that miracle. Same with Musa, same with the Prophet splitting the moon. Like from Jesus himself, could he create a fly? He couldn't create himself. He couldn't create a fly. Allah said, and look what Allah said. Look at this, how powerful this is. Allah said, forget making a fly. Allah said, if that fly came and took something from them, came to your food and took a little bite, Allah said, forget making the fly. If the fly takes something from you, you can't even get back what the fly took from you. Fly comes, sucks your blood, right? It sits on you, sucks your blood, and it leaves. Can you ever take back the blood that the fly took from you? Allah said, forget creating a fly. You cannot even bring back what the fly took from you. That's how weak you are. But then still you're going to go worship other things besides Allah. Those things that you worship, ask them to make a fly. They can't make a fly. In fact, the fly would come and rob things from them. The idol that you worship, the Hindus are pouring milk over the idol. A little fly comes, drinks its milk, goes, whoop, disappears. It just disappears. The fly just robbed your God's milk. The fly came, if a fly came on Jesus, took some of his blood, the fly took the blood of Jesus, Jesus can't even get it back. Jesus, I'm not talking about Isa, I'm talking about our prophet. Their God that they worship, I'm saying their God can't even get back the blood the fly took from him. Fly comes, eats your food, runs away with it, whoop, it's gone. You can't even chase back and get that. Let's say you cut the fly open. Can you find it? Wallah, you're weak. God, the things that you worship are weak. They're weak. They are weak, yet you worship them besides Allah. Subhanallah amma yushrikun. Glory and perfection be to Allah, high above that which they assert on Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hey guys, I really hope that you benefited from that video. Before you go, I want to ask you a really important question. Have you guys ever thought about studying Islam and seeking knowledge? If not, then I want you to reflect upon this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to be a scholar, but you have to know the basics in order for you to be the best possible slave and worshipper of Allah that you can possibly be. So we decided to provide a solution for this. You see, many people want to study, but they don't have the means or the resources to do so. So we set up an online institute called the Knowledge College, where you can study Islam from the comfort of your own home. So if you want more information on the Knowledge College and you'd like to sign up, go to the link below, check out the website, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum.